It feels like to me the Mets never really had a chance, but the Yankees did. And they fell short of the offer by not only the Dodgers, who ended up landing him, but the Mets as well. The Yankees missed an opportunity here. If the evil empire is back, how could the Yankees sit there and be okay with being third on the list of offers? That is unacceptable.
Well, I mean, listen, first of all, they weren't third. The Mets were being played. And you know what? On some level, the Yankees were being played as well. But I get this. I have no problem with what the Yankees did, or maybe more specifically, did not do.
They got outbid by two teams, the big, bad, almighty Yankees, and they thought they were going to get them.
It depends how you look at the terms of the deal. I mean, 12 years for $325 versus 10 years for $300. The Yankees actually had the highest AAV. So the Yankees actually came, this is factually true, with more per year. Listen, he didn't want us. That's fine. I'm not going to just get on the air for 3 hours and cry about,
I thought he did. I thought he wanted the pinstripes, the power of the pinstripes.
I thought he did too.
You were not embarrassed as a Yankee
fan? No, embarrassed? No.
You got outbid by two other teams, that the Dodgers are doing what you used to do. You said the evil empire was back, right? This was supposed to be about the Yankees being back. The Yankees, how do you know if the Yankees didn't come up to 325 that they would not have Yamamoto right now?
I don't know that. I don't know that. So because I don't know that, I can't crush them. All I can tell you is, and honestly, Sal, react to what I do know. I think the Yankees were very proactive in their scouting. They attended every start, 28 start. Every start, a Yankee scout was there, all right? I thought they had a very fair offer for an unknown at this point, even though his stuff seems to be transcendent. And, and I would love him to be next to Garrett Cole. He's not. But I think the offer was fair. I think the terms, in terms of the length, I think that was fair. I think the personalization was good. See, here's the difference. Like, again, I'm disappointed. I'm not trying to. I'm disappointed.
But why couldn't they just match? Well, then let him decide.
You know why? I'll tell you why. Because they're the Yankees, and that's the difference.
What does that mean?
It means the Yankees aren't going to come begging.
They didn't get him.
I understand that.
Did they want him or not?
Well, they did, but they also wanted him with a modicum of self-respect.
But that's what they've always done. Look, here's the way I call it. The Bronx Bombers, right? The big bad New York Yankees. Dodgers, Mets, 325. Yankees, third, 300. They're not the Bronx Bombers. They're the Bronze Bombers.
Okay, fantastic. We can hand out medals and we can check out the,
but
like the
Olympic
Yankees
standings.
Supposed
to be first.
I understand that. It's also December 22nd. The Yankees missed out on a target that every Yankee fans, let's be honest, every single Yankee fan wanted. Every one of you. That's part of the discussion. And I agree. I'm not going to front. I'm disappointed. I really wanted him to be, and I thought that he would be. That's part of the conversation. Am I disappointed in the Yankees? No, because I don't think they did anything wrong. And then I pivot from there.
But they fell short, though.
Oh, all right. But then I pivot from there and I say, all right, what's the next step? The next step for me is now the Yankees go hunting. And there's no Yamamoto to bring in, but there's a lot of other players. Now, that's the Yankees' perspective. Let me flip the Mets stuff to you, all right? Because I know that you came with the Yankees.
Well, I think that's to me, the Yankees if they would have lost out on Yamamoto at an equal price, I could not come on here and say, what are the Yankees doing? They fell short. They literally fell short, $25 million short. That's not a lot over the course of 10, 12 years. I don't care about the AAV. Ultimately,
but that matters.
No, it doesn't.
With opt-outs, of course it matters. He's not even going to see those final 2 years, Sal. He's going to opt out.
The total dollar amount that he got from the Dodgers was $25 million more than the Yankees were willing to offer. I just don't understand why they wouldn't go the extra step.
Well, because maybe they just thought that was irresponsible. And I'm going to trust them on this.
They took the tough game. They go to Japan to see his no-hitter.
They talk a tough game. They pursued him, and they didn't get him, and now they pivot, and they see what's up.
They handed him the 18 jersey, the pinstripes.
If that's not enough, we don't need you.
The reports last night.
You don't want the Matsui jersey? That's not enough to entice. We don't need you.
Right.
See, there's two aspects here. There's the Yankee aspect, and then there's the Met aspect. And let me tell you what your problem is with your owner. Honestly, Sal. And Met fans, this is not good for you. Your owner went hard. No nonsense, no BS, no tweaking. Cohen represented and acquitted himself amazingly during this entire process. He personalized it. He did everything that he needed to do to get into the room. Because if he didn't do that, he was never even going to get into the room. So legitimate respect and props to that. Okay. But the thought that Cohen, that his biggest weapon, when it was time to reach for the sword, the lightsaber, the blast, or whatever weapon you have, his weapon's the checkbook.
Right.
At least allegedly, right? Now, I'm not going to get on the air and diminish a $325 million offer to somebody who's never thrown a pitch in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
That is legitimate money, and it's a massive extrapolation of what he is and then a projection of what you think. And that's risky. So they came correct on the numbers for most teams, not for the Mets. You see, if everybody's going to tell me that Cohen is going to become, and not even playing off the King Cohen moniker, but King Cohen and elevating the Mets and, superseding the Yankees, how does Cohen not have an offer? I legitimately ask this question. If I'm a Mets fan, this bothers me. After 6 weeks of this talking point, where is the $360 million offer? Where is the $355 offer? Where is there something that gives Yamamoto pause, even if he's not going to come here? And I know he didn't want to be a Met or Yankee, but at least
he wanted to be a Yankee.
At least something that makes him say, man, I really want to be a Dodger or a Yankee, but I can't leave these extra 60 million bones on the table. I'm going to be a Met. He didn't even do that, and everybody told me that he would.
Well, he
didn't do it.
He had the highest offer.
No, he didn't. He did not.
No. He had the highest offer.
He didn't have the highest offer.
Where's the offer that's over $325 million?
Let me ask you this.
Well, wait, no, you said he didn't have the highest offer. I'm asking you, show me the evidence. Where's the offer?
I'm not going to show you. I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
If you have a race, right, and you literally have a 3-person race, and one person finishes, I'll just use the 60-yard dash. That's what I know with baseball. If somebody runs a 6.7, they finish in third place.
Right.
So
like
6.7. Yeah, like
third
the Yankees.
place,
I'll give you that. Sure, like the Yankees. Yep. 6.7. And then the other two guys run a 6.39, which is an amazing 40 time or 60 time.
Mm-hmm.
But if they both run a 6.39, literally timed out, did somebody have a better time than the other guy? They had the same time. You can't tell me the Mets had a better offer. They did not. They literally had the same offer.
The Mets were first with the highest offer. Of all the teams that wanted Yamamoto, the Mets said, here is our $325 million offer. Then Yamamoto, because he didn't want the Mets, went back to the Dodgers and probably the Yankees and said, we have the high offer from King Cohen and the Mets at $325.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
Okay.
The Dodgers said, we're going to match it. The Yankees said, no thanks. And then he went to the Dodgers. I don't know how you could get. You can't say that you're not going to get on the Yankees for not extending $25 million and rip Steve Cohen
Well, I'm not
for
ripping,
not going over the
no,
highest
I'm not,
offer.
No, I'm not ripping him. I'm just not ignoring him, which is what you're doing. You're making it seem
I'm
like
not
Steve
ignoring
Cohen,
it.
like it was an. By the way, nobody won here. I didn't win. You didn't win. Yanks didn't win. None of us won. We're just trying to contextualize these very complicated conversations and negotiations. And I don't think anybody did great.
But when you sift through the weeds of it, obviously everybody's disappointed because everybody wanted Yamamoto and nobody in New York ended up getting him. But if I'm the Mets, I walk away saying, I did all I could do to get this player. Ultimately.
But I don't think that you did, Sal. I don't think that you did.
Ultimately. Dude, what are you talking about? What more could he have done?
How about going in with an offer of $350? You knew the general parameters.
You don't think the Mets did all they could do to get him?
From a personalization, yes. From a monetary, no.
Do you think the Yankees did?
No.
Okay. Well, the Yankees definitively did not because they didn't even have the highest offer.
But they had the highest AAV. And by the way,
Sal,
the way these contracts are constructed, do you think he's going to see 12 years? He's going to opt out after 5 and 8.
You were talking a big game like the Yankees were going to get him. I
was wrong. I admit that. I was wrong. I thought the Yankees were going to get him. I thought they were going to get him.
I didn't mean in that regard, like right or wrong. Obviously, I thought the Mets were going to get him, and I was wrong with that too. But I mean the evil empire being back. When have the Yankees ever got outbid by 2 teams for a player that they wanted? I feel that the Mets did all they could do. Ultimately, you were right. He didn't want the Mets. Yamamoto did not want the Mets. He used them. But Steve Cohen did all he could do. $325 million. Dodgers matched, and the Yankees, I felt, did not do all they could do. And had they gone to $325, maybe, just maybe, he would be in pinstripes. BT and Sal on the Fan, our friends at Town Fair Tire, remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Jeremy is in Elizabeth. What's up, Jeremy?
What's up, Sal? Listen, I gotta agree with BT here. I mean, you're getting on him, but your first cold opening is you start ripping the Yankees for not getting Yamamoto. How about the Mets offseason? It's a bigger loss for the Mets. They've signed nobody this year.
Well, that's a different story on the field. We're talking about Yamamoto right now, and for me, the biggest thing to come of this Now, the Mets on the field miss Yamamoto more than the Yankees do on the field. I've said that from the beginning. The Mets needed an ace. The Yankees did not. But the Yankees wanted this player, and they fell short of the highest bid. How does that? I don't understand how you don't understand
I mean,
that.
well, now it's time for Plan B. Like we're not going to.
But no, it's not about Plan B. No, it's not about Plan B. If you're a Yankee fan, why would you believe that they're going all in if a player that they wanted, they didn't even have the highest offer? They didn't even have the second highest offer.
Nah, so what? It's like BT said. Hey, we gave you everything. We gave you the 18 and pinstripes.
Yeah.
You've left $25 million on the table.
That's okay. I'm okay with that.
But you didn't have the okay. But then don't say the Yankees went all in.
No, I didn't say they went all in.
And they're going to be the evil empire and go get everybody.
Well,
they're not.
Well, here's what I think. Okay.
How much have they spent this offseason in free agency?
In free agency, none.
$0.
Okay, but you know what? We could play the semantics and say free agency versus trades. They brought in one of the best players in baseball and a highly above average left fielder, so they addressed their biggest deficiencies. Listen, we've done this. I mean, first of all, thank you, baseball gods, even though it's not the resolution that we wanted. Just honestly, give me something because we needed it. We deserved this.
Didn't want it to happen.
We needed this. If this happened like tomorrow, it would have been unfair. Let me just say one thing before we keep banging these calls. Like waking up today, all right, and if you can refute this or add to this, I'm literally all ears, I swear. If I'm a Yankee fan, which I am, I feel supreme confidence, I truly mean this, that the Yankees' plans B and C will be big targets, talented targets, and that they will pounce and that they will reel in multiple pieces. I don't think the Met fan feels that way, and I don't think that they should.
I would have rather the Yankees go all in on Yamamoto than go get Plan B or C. This was the guy to get. He wanted you. Like the Yankees had a shot. The Mets never really did. Let me ask you, hypothetical. If the Mets offered Yamamoto $360.
Yep.
And the Dodgers said, you know what, we'll come up to $340, $330, but we're not going to $360. Which team do you think you would have chosen?
The Dodgers. And at that point,
we agree.
We do. And at that point, I would say, Cohen, you did everything that you could do. There is nothing to even remotely, quibble over. My only contention with Cohen is that he has always been positioned as the biggest, baddest spender, and he had the same exact offer as the team that he went to. You've got to fly by that if that's what you're positioned to be.
And he had more than the Yankees.
Okay, but those are two different discussions.
But
they're two different discussions. He didn't have more than the Dodgers, which is all that mattered.
He set the market.
Okay, so how about this, Sal?
He said it. The highest offer, $325, yep. Most ever for a pitcher in the history of the sport. Steve Cohen, he's the one that made that offer. Then, because Yamamoto didn't want the Mets, obviously, if you leave Steve Cohen's house after dinner and don't sign a deal, odds are you're not going there. And we
maybe
knew
his
that
wife
deep
doesn't
down.
cook well. I don't know.
We knew that was going to be the case. Okay, so deep down, I wanted to be Met, but I knew once he leaves his house after dinner, he doesn't want to be a Met. And you got the sense that the Mets, not that they were being played, but being used certainly to jack up the price.
No question.
And even though he knew that, Cohen knew that, he still said, here's the highest offer ever for a pitcher in history. That's our offer. The Dodgers didn't have that first. They then matched, and they had an advantage because Yamamoto wanted to be a Dodger. The Yankees, who could have maybe had him at $325, didn't even get there. So I look at what the Yankees did as worse than you saying Steve Cohen should have went to $360 or some absurd number for guys never thrown a pitch. Then the Yankees could have just come up to where two other teams were had they wanted them. I'd rather have him, Yamamoto, for $25 million more than if they go after Blake Snell, for example.
Highest AAV.
It wasn't enough.
Highest AAV.
Mark is in East Village. What's up, Mark?
What's up, Mark?
Sal, you are way off with your take. This is a much bigger deal for the Mets. First of all, the Yankees went into this offseason with their biggest priority, and they got him. That was Soto. Their biggest priority was not Yamamoto. That was Plan B. So you didn't get Plan B. That's all right. The Mets, this was their Plan A. And
so you're happy? Are you a Yankee fan, Mark? Mark, are you a Yankee? Mark, are you a Yankee fan? Are you a Yankee fan?
Big Yankee fan.
Okay, so then focus on the Yankees' perspective for a second. Are you happy with the Yankees being third in the bidding for Yamamoto and not getting him?
You know what? Even Judge, we weren't first in the bidding.
That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. I asked you a simple question. As a Yankee fan, how do you feel today that your team doesn't get Yamamoto, even though he might have wanted the pinstripes, and they were third in the bidding? I'm asking you seriously, how does that make you feel?
I really don't think it's that big of a deal that we weren't number one in the bidding. Again,
You weren't number two either. I said number three. You weren't number two either. How does that make you feel? That's what I'm asking. I'm serious.
In the King Cohen era, in the quote-unquote
Again,
King
you're
Cohen
talking
era.
about the Mets.
I don't want to.
I'm sorry.
Brad, I don't want to break the Mets. So
Yeah.
I had a couple of questions for him.
Sorry.
And the first question was a good one, and he gave the answer, kind of. The second question I would ask was, or was about to ask was, do you like what they've done so far with the rest of the offseason?
Yeah.
And he would have absolutely said, I'm thrilled. And then I would have said, do you have confidence that either a combination of Snell, Montgomery, Hader, Soler, whatever, is next? And he would have said, yes. And he would be right.
See, that's where we differ. I thought if the Yankees got Yamamoto, there is no disputing the evil empire is back and in full force, right? They didn't. And not only did they not get him, they didn't even have the highest bid. They didn't have the second highest bid. That's, to me, alarming because that's more in line with the Yankees that we know of recent days as opposed to the big, bad, evil empire. Then you're going to say that they're going to go out there and spend on these other guys who I don't think are as good. I'd rather than pay Stanton to go away and then go out and maybe get another bat, whatever. And they're not going to do that.
Maybe that's part of the plan.
But they won't stand out.
I don't know. I don't know.
But I don't understand why you have belief that they would when they haven't done anything to the contrary.
Why. Because I've always said the moment that they, and I understand he's a rental until proven otherwise. I guarantee.
And that's going to be the next biggest thing, obviously.
We're talking about that every day now.
Well, but now without Yamamoto, if they don't extend Soto, dude, that's a disaster.
It's disaster at that point.
Right.
Understood. No, I'm going to grant you that. But I've always said from minute one, number one, what the Yankees gave up, whatever, immaterial. It's Juan freaking Soto.
Right.
That's all everybody needs. A Michael King. Please spare me with the nonsense.
Agreed.
Him and a fifth-string catcher. All right, and two starters who will never do anything. So the Yankees didn't give up a lot, number one. Number two, the Yankees made that trade knowing that they had to, and they already baked in financial, at least loose parameters of what Soto's going to cost. They already acquired him knowing and willing to cut the massive check if he wants to stay.
Right.
That's number two. And they're going to pay him $32 million in arbitration this year, and they're not close to being done. So the free agency versus the trades, now we've got to let it develop. It's December 22nd, and they're going to be incredibly active.
After what we saw last night with the offers being what they were, do you feel more confident now that the Yankees will have the highest bid for Soto? The highest bid, period.
It's tough to answer.
That's a problem, though.
Well, it's only a problem if he leaves. It's not a problem if he loves it. Let's put it this way. The one thing, Sal, that I know that we have to say things on the radio, and we say what we mean.
Right.
And sometimes we're wildly off base. A lot of times we're on the money. It's part of doing a show 4 hours a day, 20 hours a week. Okay. We don't know what's in their heart. So you're not wrong. The Yankees had the lowest offer of the three, or second if you look at the Dodgers and Mets being tied, however you want to look at it. But if the Yankees had intel that no matter what they did, Yamamoto was always going to be a Dodger, just bow wow, keep your dignity, give him 10 years, $300 million. Here's the 18. Here's the stupid signature from Matsui. Do you want us or not?
Fine, but
so save some dignity if they had some intel. And we don't know if they had any intel. Nor will we, back to Soto to answer you. We don't know. Like if Soto's like lukewarm on here and he's like, he hears a few boos and he has an average season for him, and then the Yankees might need to lavish him with more than they want. And if they don't, that's a problem.
Right.
But I can't answer that.
But there are a couple of things. The way that you said about Yamamoto, I agree with. Like if they knew he wasn't going to be there, fine, then don't extend yourself.
Yep.
But then you got to say the same thing for Steve Cohen. And he definitely knew. See, the Yankees didn't because it was always the Dodgers and Yankees. Always Dodgers, Yankees. Cohen definitely knew that Yamamoto didn't really want him. So he extended to $325. Dodgers came up. I can't blame him for not going more than that. And I would be concerned if I'm the Yankees about Soto because if it's about the money, and a lot of times it is, and maybe with Yamamoto it wasn't necessarily, we don't know the entire thing, but if it's about the money, I don't have any faith that this Yankee team is going to offer the most money.